Welcome back to Luminary Leaders Live. My name is Shelly Harrison, and I want to welcome our guest, Tammi. We'll get to her in just a moment, but I want to also thank our show sponsor, who is Endeavor Mortgage with Dan Leonard. They're located in Seal Beach, so a big shout out to Dan Leonard and Endeavor Mortgage. So Tammi Rocha, she is a neurological massage therapist, and she has magical hands and so much educational background to the work that she's doing. So Tammi, I want to welcome you to Luminary Leaders Live.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Well, great to see you too. And I just saw you this week because I had a treatment done, and I have to say I'm feeling so much better.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear
that. I know, right? That's what you always want to hear.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I'm so glad that you're here because you're not just you're I don't want to say typical massage therapist, but you go much deeper than that, right? You get into people's nerves. Yes. And what I would love for you to kind of share is, a little bit about your background, how you started your career with, in this case, now you are the founder of Tammi Inc. So let's talk about that and share with our audience.
Okay. So I have a nonprofit, and it's Tammi Incorporated. I am the inventor and the founder and the CEO and president. And it's actually an invention where I help move the nerves around to make sure that your body is plugged in, similar to a toaster on your counter. If it's not plugged in, then it's not going to pop toast. So if your nerves are plugged in, then you're able to talk and laugh and digest and walk and wave your hands around and have a real life. Otherwise, you're in pain or there's paralysis. And what I do is I work with all types of neurological diseases, including ALS, Parkinson's, lupus, pregnancy and conception issues. And I even work with debilitating injuries such as spinal and disc injuries, scoliosis, even undiagnosed specimens, if you will. There are people that have ailments and the doctors can't figure out exactly what it is. And when they come and see me and I plug them in, they no longer have the issue anymore. So now they don't need to go back to the doctor. I live for that.
Yeah. And I know that, you are so dedicated to your craft, because when it comes to working on one of your clients, and I just know from firsthand, because, you help me with I'm not even sure what you can call it, but it's in my lumbar 4 and 5 and, some pain that radiates down in certain parts of my body. Yeah. But you really made it so much more comforting to be able to move around for me, where, it's a massage like no other. It's really a deep tissue, getting into the nerves and really doing a deeper job than just a regular massage therapist, even though they do great work. That's kind of a different way of getting massage, but with you, and let's talk about those, those nerve endings and things that, you had to go to school to learn all of this. So let's talk about that education you have.
Yes. So it initially began with an injury to my personal spine, and a massage therapist injured, instead of being lateral to my spine and putting full pressure on there, they were directly on my spine and tore every interstitial, interligamentary, from your spinous processes. And there's these little tiny baby ligaments inside of your spine. And when she put all that pressure on there from T7 all the way down to S2, I was so torn up that I actually couldn't digest. I couldn't move. It was really difficult for me to live my life happily. So I had to figure out a way to help myself. And when I did, I thought, I wonder if this nervous system process works on other people. And I tried it on 1, then 100, and now I'm way over 9,000 hours of helping people with this neurological ability. And it's really awesome because I can just keep giving it, and it keeps working for different ailments and different diseases. And I'm actually trying to get out into the world so that I can help with ALS. And I'm looking for hopefully possibly defeating the ice bucket challenge and making sure that people are no longer using ice and they're now using heating pads so that they can defeat all of the issues that are going on with their nervous system, along with getting the treatment that will help a lot.
Yeah. And, beyond a massage therapist, I know that you went to school, you had different, courses that you had taken for a 4-year period. So let's talk about that, because I want people to see, kind of the additional education that you have that enables you to do this work.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing me back to that. So from
Yeah.
2014 to 2018, I went back to school so that I could figure out if this is a process that was going to work. I took all of my anatomy classes and all of my biologies and chemistries and all the fun stuff like math and English and so forth. But in that time frame, I also got to work full time with these clients while I was figuring things out if it works or not. And in that, being the A student, because I love anatomy so much, I was able to figure out that this can change everything. This can change the way that people think of biology, the way that people think of medicine, and we don't always have to go that route. But with the education that I received, it just seemed that I needed to do more. So when I went in, I just decided that I needed to keep fixing people. So I don't know much more on that. I really want to make sure that people know that I really put all of me and all of my love and all of my education and my knowledge into it, and I won't let them down.
And you truly do, Tammi. And I love the way that you kind of look at a client and you go right in for where the pain is and you work it through. You're very meticulous about how you do it. And I would imagine that people that are having different types of ailments, that and beyond that, and I have to say that, tennis balls. So that's the one thing when we first, got on the phone and you hadn't come out yet, to my home, you had said, get tennis balls. And luckily my husband's a tennis player, so we had them readily available. And the way that you told me to use them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is instant relief. Now, mind you, it didn't get rid of the pain, but it was instant relief. And it just made that much difference. And even the way that I sat on the couch. And that was above and beyond you giving that guidance, even how to walk up my stairs, so a typical massage therapist doesn't have that, that education, I would imagine, where, you have that kind of like that, almost like a nurse, how to take care of someone and really nurture them and get them to where they're comfortable and, not to undo the work that you did.
Yes, that's sometimes a little bit difficult, trying to give people the homework afterwards to let them know you have to be super gentle with your body and you can't force all of the healing all at one time. Just let your body go from a solid state to a gel to a fluid for me to fix you, and then a few days to go from the fluid to the gel to the solid, but now with the nerves in the right place. And I know it's a very slow, very methodical process, and sometimes it takes more than one session, but it's definitely worth all of the effort because it can help anything from someone losing their eyesight to bringing that back to someone, like I was saying, with scoliosis, realigning the spine. It can help with mental stresses. It can help with TMJ. It can help with Bell's palsy. I recently had a Bell's palsy client who had their face completely shifted and it was completely uneven. And when I was done, it started to maneuver itself on its own once they were plugged in. She recently sent me an after picture about 3 weeks later, and it looks awesome. It looks wonderful. I'm so happy for that. It can help people with heart issues, people with breathing issues, digestion issues from Crohn's to IBS to diverticulitis. It can help with walking issues. The nerve on you that you were speaking of is actually the L234, and 3 pop into one nerve and go all the way down to the foot and then come back out as 2. And when I plug those back in, then someone's able to walk, or in your situation, ride bikes and get back to life. And all those situations are changed just by being able to maneuver the nerves around. And as long as the client is relaxed and they're able to release all control and don't resist or assist, then their body is like a skeleton and gelatin, and I'm able to maneuver all the nerves around the entire system, which is really kind of fun, actually.
Yeah. And it's just fascinating to see how you do it. And, I look at when I was on your table, and I was face down and I had mentioned to you, I'm getting a cramp. And you went right to that spot and okay, I see it. Let me take care of it. And you took care of it instantly. And to where if I was just on my own, I'd be, oh my gosh, that, I would be just like moving all over trying to get it comfortable. Yes. So that's the kind of, where you see things that really the client can't, because if, you know, if
Yeah.
they've got some kind of a bulge or a nerve or whatever that's either sticking out or not in the right spot, you know how to maneuver that.
Exactly. There would be tons of people that I have in the past where they would just try to rub out their situation. And I'm like, don't rub it. Actually, there's a direction where the nerve goes. So go
Yeah.
this way. And if it's your hand, make sure to rub the nerves up this way. And in the face, rub the nerves this way. Everything makes a huge difference in where everything goes. And every nerve also goes a different direction at a different depth. So knowing what you're working with, is it a heart issue or is it a shoulder issue? Those are two completely different depths, and the nerves go in two different directions. So knowing that helps a lot too. And then giving the client that knowledge so that they also have confidence in their future healing. And it makes them less fearful of either losing their life or losing their ability to walk or speak or
Oh,
eat.
yeah.
It's everything.
Well, I think, you know, there are a lot of people in pain. I mean, the older we get, you know, I think things happen, you know, where you could be walking and, you know, just automatically just kind of, you know, trip over a rock or something and boom, you've got, you know, you've got something that is, you know, that's going to take time to heal. And
Yes.
yeah, and I would think that, you know, there are a lot of people out there that they need to, you know, the posture is important and different things that you do to kind of slow down a little bit and not overdo it, you know. And I don't, you think a lot of people though, sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it, and
It's
all of a
true.
sudden we've got some kind of a nerve
Yes.
problem, or yeah.
Yes. And exactly as you're saying, it could be something as minor as you tripping over something or a
Yeah.
sneeze, or someone thinks it's a minor headache, but actually it's the beginning
Yeah.
stages of a stroke. Or they could hit their hand on something and not even realize that years down the line at some point is going to be an elbow issue, and then a shoulder issue, and then a spine issue, because it basically crawls up your body. And then when someone has that spine issue and that little ball hardens, something like that is ALS. And if that little ball in your head and your face tends
Mm.
to fall back and into your brain, that could be paralysis or speech loss or a stroke, something like that. So everything, it could be something super small. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would think too, you know, in sports, you know, there are a lot of NFL players where, you know, they have traumatic, you know, head injuries and different things that are happening to them.
Yeah.
I would think that, you know, someone like you would be highly beneficial, you
Yeah.
know, to be you know, in that situation where you can help them.
I
So
see so
athletes.
many, yes, so many athletes. Like I see so many athletes that get hit in the head or they land on their neck and suddenly they're either, you know, dizzy or they're paralyzed. And like say what you were saying, traumatic things that happen to your brain, there's something called chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And that's
Mm,
basically when someone has that brain injury in football, say for instance, that could lead them to long lasting and lifelong issues such as speech impediments or later Parkinson's
yeah.
or Alzheimer's or dementia or even bipolarity. Because if we knock ourselves silly, it can sometimes take us a little past silly. And I
Yeah.
know, you know, I've taken a fall here or there, or skating or ice skating, and I have to instantly put myself back, because if not, that could lead to something major. But in
Even
sport,
more, yeah, even more severe, right? And
exactly.
I think people need to know, you know, and there's a reason why, like if people fall or they hit their head or, you know, something, you know, people that are around them say, you know what, just stay still, don't do anything. We want to observe you, you know, for 15 or 20 minutes or whatever. And I think that's smart for people to do that, because once you get up and you start going again, you could have just had a serious accident that could
Yes.
create a, you know, a problem down the road.
Yes. For instance, I have a niece that when she was a little over one, I believe it is, she had a fall and she hit her head so hard that it
Oh,
caused like a cylindrical knot to come out of her head. And because I saw it happen, I instantly gave her to her mom and said, hold her.
oh
And
my
even
goodness.
though she was screaming up a storm because it hurt like heck, I put everything where it was supposed to go, and I drained the fluid out of that area and I dropped it
Oh,
out of her. And within a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, she was much better. She still had a little bit of symptoms from the pain. And then throughout the next couple of hours, I just kept working on her every little while whenever she would allow me to. And
mm,
before you knew it, she just had a little tiny red blemish, a little pink blemish,
wow.
where she could have had a huge black and blue cylindrical knot. sticking out of her head. And that happens so
Yeah.
often with babies when they're learning how to walk, or when they're running and they don't realize that the doorway is this big and their body is this big, and they go
Yeah.
right into it.
Oh, yeah. Or, just tripping on, a rug or something. I mean, there's a lot of ways that, the little ones can get hurt, and us,
Yes.
older folks too. I think, the older we get, the more, I don't want to say frail, but I think we just need to be more careful and more mindful of what we're doing,
It's true. It's
And
true.
you're still young, so you've got a lot of ways to
Well,
go.
I'll let everybody know my age, actually. So I'm 49, and I'm
Yeah,
getting.
and you don't look it. You don't
Thank
look
you.
it.
I appreciate it. I'm really trying to get out there. Before you know it, 70 will be here, 80 will be here, and I want to
Don't say
make
it
sure.
like that.
I know.
I don't want to be that.
I think I need people to feel and to see and to hear how serious it is to
Yeah.
look at a different method, to see that it doesn't always have to be medicine. It doesn't always have to be
That's
surgery.
right.
It doesn't always
Yeah.
have to be PT or occupational therapy. There are so many avenues that we can go. There's holistic, there's medicine, there's Eastern, there's Western. Mine is a little more on the Eastern side of medicine because it's holistic. But this path is going to change how we treat medicine and how we treat our clients and how we treat injuries and how we treat neurological diseases.
Yeah.
And people aren't even going to realize it right up front until they get the treatment. They're going to realize, I need this once a year just to make sure to maintain my future, and so that my
Yeah.
aging can
Get
go
their
backwards.
body in
I work
line.
on my face all the time. I work on my body all the time. I work on family members. I work on friends because, anybody needs it. And if I see something happen, I'm the crazy person that'll jump right in and say, I know you don't know me, but that's something that can hurt for long term. Can I help you? And
Yeah.
they'll let me. I've had someone that actually started to have a stroke in front of me, and I saw her face drop.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
instantly was able to sit her down, get her some water, talk her through what was going on. And I said, I'm going to do something to you, and you have to let me bring you back. And she was already kind of falling apart. So I brought all the nerves back to where she was supposed to be. I cooled her off and I talked her through it. And she went from having a stroke to her face drooping and her arm dropping to realizing what was going on. And she came back. So within a matter of 10 minutes, I took her
Oh
from
my gosh.
almost completely having a stroke had I not been there. And now she's normal. I check on her every now and then, and she's totally fine. And I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, she was very lucky to have you there just at that moment.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And what I would imagine, what was going through your mind is not panic. It was more, okay, I got to take care of this and get this taken care of, so she doesn't go into a full-blown, stroke.
I
Yeah.
can absolutely see how paramedics and firemen and policemen go in for all that's going on. They don't run away from the issue. They run right in. And that's kind of how I feel, whether it's a cramp in your body or a cramp in my leg or someone falling off a curb or anything. I jump in and I feel like I have to help. It's my obligation in life.
Yeah. You know what just crossed my mind? I'm thinking, gosh, I'm trying to think of, because of the way that you approach this, you're a wellness provider.
Aw,
Right?
yes.
A wellness provider, because you help people, like you said, whether they, come to see you once a year. And by the way, we want to make sure people know that they do have access to you. You're located in LA, Los Angeles area, in Lakewood area. That's what I was going to say, Long Beach, but Lakewood.
It's all LA.
Yeah, all of LA. LA is big.
Yes.
But you work within a 30-mile radius. So those of you that are out there that are just seeing Tammi for the first time and you think, I need her to come to me, because she does, come to your home within a 30-mile radius of Lakewood. So just keep that in mind. And
still have an office. I'm looking for offices now. The pandemic took me down. I was ready to sign a lease for two offices at the beginning of 2020. And I got sick with COVID at the beginning of 2020, and it took me down for a month and a half. Luckily, because then I wasn't stuck with the lease, I wouldn't have been able to pay.
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So in the circumstances, I'm super happy that I did get sick when I did. But I am looking for offices. I'm looking for a space so that people can click on me, find me, read the blogs, and read how I can help you just by reading me. and then also come on in for a service. So we can figure something out. If you're from out of town, I have someone from Vermont flying in next week for 2 sessions within a 5-day interim. So when he comes out, I'm going to fix him. He's going to go home. And since the doctors couldn't diagnose him, I'm just going to recircuit him and put him back together. And he's going to go home a happy camper.
Oh, what a lucky guy, because I know how you do it, how you approach things. And it's very clinical, the way that you put this together, and, you're very systematic when when you're doing this, you're in the zone, you make sure that you're only focused on that client when they're on your table.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a very OCD process, but I know that the client probably realizes it's going to be slow and methodical. You don't want to anger the nerves by going too quickly, and you don't want to reroute something the wrong way or have someone clinch up. So just talking the person through it, and making sure that the nervous system is ready for me, it's making them a happy camper and me a happy camper as well.
Oh, well, it's miraculous what you do, and the work, your hands, you know exactly how to, maneuver the nerves and just, get in there and get to the immediate problem. So, hands up to you, because you are truly you're a magician when it comes to healing. And I want to thank you personally, publicly, just to say thank you for what you've done for me, because now I don't have to take medication as much as I was supposed to be taking. Yes. And I don't have to go to physical therapy. So there you go, folks. Tammi saves and heals people. So
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I do want to try to get out to, like I was saying before, not just with the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. There's something, if I can throw in one more thing, there's something called the NORD, the National Organization for Rare Disorders. And they touch upon all different neurological diseases that people aren't even aware of. And as I look through their system, I see hundreds of things that I can help. And I'm trying to reach out to these places. And because I'm just one single person and it's hard to be heard, I'm hoping that this message gets out to people that have some sort of influence, whether it's the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which I've already sent my information to. I'm trying to get my word in edgewise. The Cure Duchenne, which is a disease that's killing 3-year-old to 15-year-old boys. Very few live to 30, and when they do, they're usually paralyzed by 7 years old.
Wow.
Any celeb out there that has any attachments to any neurological diseases, whether it's your family or yourself, or you're having pain or numbness, please give me a call. Alzheimer's, I can help. Dementia, all of that. So
all of the above.
All of the above. And I just wanted to throw that last thing in there.
And Tammi, how do people reach you?
Yes. You can either reach me through Facebook at Tammi Inc. or Tammi Incorporated. You can also reach me on Instagram at Tammi Inc. TAMMIINC. Or you can go to my website, tammiinc.org. And if you want to email me, you can go ahead and go tammi.rocha, ROCHA, at tammiinc.org. I think that's everything.
That's perfect. And you can even check in with me if, for those of you that know me and want to talk with me directly, I can give you a great testimonial with Tammi, just, for the work that she's done with me. So thank you, Tammi. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank I want to thank our audience for tuning in. Make sure that you go back to the beginning of this broadcast and listen to it. And Tammi, you're going to be able to take this live, and when you go back to the Michael J. Fox Foundation, you're going to be able to give them this interview. All you have to do is grab the YouTube link. So there you go.
Thank you. Wow. That's amazing technology.
I know. So, again, thank you, Tammi, for being on the broadcast and just gracing us with your wisdom. And to our audience, we will catch you next time. And remember to subscribe to Luminary Leaders Live on YouTube, and catch guests just like Tammi who have extraordinary backgrounds and expertise. We love having those folks on. And we want to thank Endeavor Mortgage with Dan Leonard out in Seal Beach for being our show sponsor. So thank you again, and we'll catch everyone later.